Hello everyone, how's it going? Dr. Incompetent here, and let's play some Planet Zoo, shall we? Continuing our complete beginner's guide here in 2023, and they just released a rather large update for the game, so that's pretty cool. And I'm not sure about all the new features, but I got a request to talk about work zones, and I'm going to do that in this episode, as well as talk about exhibits, because our zoo hasn't built any exhibits yet. So first of all, I'm going to greet a new player and just get the conservation credits. So we're up to 780 credits, which is good. And let's go ahead and talk about work zones. Okay, so to do work zones, we need to go to our zoo overview, and we can go to staff, and then from the staff panel we can go to this selection here called work zones, this third tab. Okay, so right now we have 0 work zones. Now, work zones are something that you use to help organize your zoo, especially when it gets larger. So right now, like, our zoo isn't enormous, but for demonstration, I'm going to add a new work zone. And then when you click the button in the bottom right there where it says Add New Work Zone, you get to this screen, which is the work zone editor. Okay, I'm actually going to pause the game while I'm in here because this staff is having a problem. She doesn't have a staff room, so she can't take a break, so she's going to be upset about that. So we got to build her a staff room. But we'll deal with that in a moment. For now, let's look at the work zone editor and talk about this. So the work zone editor is basically a top-down, well, it's whatever view you want, but it shows you all of the buildings that you have that people can work on. So you could see our 2 habitats, you could see all of our vendor stations, and these are all in red. And they say up here, these are red means not in any work zone. So right now it doesn't matter, like anybody that we hire will just walk all over and try to do anything that they can. So security guards, groundskeepers, you know, they will just kind of go around, pick up trash or patrol anywhere. Mechanics, they'll work anywhere. But if you want to limit people to a certain area, you make work zones. And this is very important when you get bigger, because you might have a section of the zoo where you notice it's getting dirty, or the crime goes up, or, you know, the maintenance levels aren't high, like things start breaking, and you're like, I need another keeper, or I need another, you know, vet, or another mechanic, somebody over in this area. And if you just plop them in the zoo, well, they will go anywhere, and you might want more control than that. So let's just say, for example, okay, I'm going to drag a box. Okay, you can just drag a box, and I'm going to select everything within this box that I just made, and it turns green, and it says in this work zone. All right, so now this is all being selected as a work zone itself. And you can go over here into this right panel for the work zone, and it tells you what habitats are included and what facilities are included. And you can just click the X to get them out if you don't want them in there, okay? And you can rename the zone. So I always like to rename my work zones something regional. So I'm like, you know, this is like the entry zone, okay? So right when you come in, I'm going to call this entry zone, all right? And, oops, you have to push enter. Entry zone, okay. No, it didn't. Oh, no, there it goes. Okay. And now we've got our entry zone. And let's see. I'm going to actually add the entrance as well. So you can just kind of select this, and it adds it. Now, you don't have to drag a box. You can actually just kind of click on things that you want to add, and you can click on them again with left click to take them out. So right now you see how I have everything over here in my entry zone work zone, right? And I'm going to say this is good. I'm happy with this. Okay, and once you're done, all right, you can leave the editor if you wish, and you can just close it up. Now, you'll see that I have a work zone up here, all right? and it has no staff in it. So we need to put some staff into this work zone. So we have all of this staff down here, and it says unassigned staff because none of our staff have a work zone. But before I do that, I'm actually going to create another work zone, and I'm going to put all of this, everything else, into this other work zone. And you're going to see it says there's no staff room in this work zone. So that's a problem. However, you can overlap. So what I mean by that is you can take a staff room over here, okay, and put it in more than one work zone. So this new work zone that I'm making is in green, but then the yellow represents the other work zone, the entry work zone, or just any other work zone. And if I click on a building that's yellow, it now is blue, which means in this work zone and another. So I can let people who are in this work zone also use this staff room. Now, this is super useful for organizing your zoo, especially as you start to build out. Like, so if I build out in this kind of northeastern direction, I can group these into my new work zone. Or if I add on anything into the entry, I might want to put that in the entry area. Then I can just kind of localize my attention and assign staff based on work zones. Now, something you have to pay attention to is anytime you build a new building, you need to come back into the work zone editor to put it into a work zone because it's not going to go into one by default. Now I'm going to call this, I'm going to rename this work zone, and I'm just going to call it entry center. Okay, so like you come in, you enter, and it's in like the kind of center portion, because the zoo is going to get much larger than this. So I'm fine with this name, and then it takes a second sometimes to change the name in that box, but we're good. And I'm going to close this. Now you see we've got these two work zones, entry zone and entry center. And I have all this staff that's not assigned to anything. So at this point, you can go down to the unassigned staff, and you'll see that here they have a drop-down box where it says no work zone, and now you can actually click and put them into a work zone. So this is our vet. So we want one vet in entry, and we basically want one of everything in both zones at the moment, equal distribution. So we want one in, I'm going to say entry, and however, the vendors all need to go in my zone, my entry center, because there's no vending currently in the entry zone. So I'm going to say entry center for you, and I only have one security guard, so I'm actually not going to put them in a work zone, and they'll just work wherever at the moment because I want them patrolling everything. And this is, okay, we want you in entry zone and you in entry center, and you, let me see what staff are in here. You can go up to the work zone and you can click the little arrow next to it to unpack the contents of the staff, and you could see that, okay, entry zone has the mechanic, so that means that I need a mechanic in entry center because we don't have one up there. So we'll put you in entry center. And let's see. Now we have 3 staff in both. I'm going to leave this staff member unassigned because I want to have a sweeper in both. I need to put the vet in entry center. Now, you're going to notice, though, there's going to be some problems because I'm assigning some staff to entry center, and I don't have all of the staff rooms as part of that. So I'm going to need to go back to entry center and just go up to the top under work zones and say edit work zone on this green button. And entry center actually needs to add many of these, if not all of these staff rooms. So I'm just going to click on them and add them in. Now, I'm not going to click on this water filter because I only want the mechanic from this work zone to take care of that. All right, so now I've added all these staff buildings. So any staff that I have added can work on both. But this is more a virtue of the fact that I'm just demonstrating work zones. when you get bigger, you're going to have to put more staff areas in your zoo because the staff don't like to walk very far to get to their workplace or the break room. So you're going to need to build other little pockets of staff facilities, and then I like to just make those for a zone. And it'll just give me an idea. Okay, for this zone, you know, you need a staff room, you need a keeper hut, you need a, you know, whatever we need to build, mechanics workshop, stuff like that. And I put them off to the side, away from the guests, and I make that for the zone. And this is part of the skill of Planet Zoo as you get better at it, is just learning how to space things out, because all your staff areas, I'm going to close this up, are going to have negative impact. So you got to watch that. Now, I'm just going to hire a new security guard and a new... here, let's go to staff. And I'm going to hire another caretaker. So I'm going to hire a caretaker. I'm just going to drop them down. And I'm going to then push escape. And I'm going to hire another security guard and drop them down. And the only reason I'm doing this, okay... Oh, look at this. We need lights all the way along this path. It's abysmal for our nighttime guests. Is so that I can go to work zones, and now I can just say, okay, you need to be an entry zone, you need to be an entry zone, and then you need to be an entry center, and you need to be entry center. Now I have equally distributed the staff for the most part, but remember, the vendors only want to be in one zone for now, because I don't have any shops to work over here. All right, and I will say, okay, they don't have a staff room, so we need another staff room. Now, an option we could have is to build a staff room kind of over here that would be for entry center if we wanted. So what I could do is say, okay, you know, this staff room, I'm actually just going to duplicate this, but I'm not going to be in a group. I'm going to exit the group, and I'm going to put this someplace, but I need the heat map up, and I need negative impact on guests because I don't want people to be upset by this. So I want to put this in a place that's off to the side, like, you know, that it's not going to bother people, but at the same time, I also want it to be close enough so that the staff don't have to walk a long way. All right, I'm going to go from... I'm just going to push surface, move, and if we put this staff room... You know what? I'm actually going to put it here. Yeah. I'm not going to plan on any activities. So I'm going to build it right there. For like when people come into the zoo. And I think it's worth mentioning because this is something I care about anyway. But when I was building stuff, I'm going to exit the group. I always worried like, this is an eyesore. It looks terrible. So I would build, you know, trees. Like I would just drop in some trees to kind of block this from people's view, or flowers or things like that. And you could totally do that to make your zoo look amazing. But people don't care if they can see this building. Even if it's ugly, they just care if it's in their negative area. Like if it's too close to them, they don't like it. But as long as it's not in a negative area of influence, as long as the staff or the guests don't come within this red, it's not going to bother them. So now we've got another staff room, but we need to go back into zoo staff work zones, and you'll see that I'm going to go to editing the work zones. So I'm going to edit entry center. This building is unassigned. I'm going to assign it to entry center. And I'm going to say that's good, but I'm also, okay, going to push escape and then go to entry zone, and I'm going to give them this staff room too. So now all of the staff can use this new staff room. I'm going to unpause the game, and this person should be able to, yep, go to the break room, and you can see that this this person will go take a break over in this new room. All right, so that's pretty good taking care of work zones for now. Now let's look at our achievements. You can see that we need to get our guests to up to 300. We need to get our education up, and we need to adopt 2 new habitat species to get some extra money. But honestly, for money, we're doing okay, even though we hired new staff. Now, first things first, though, let me go ahead and duplicate this light, and I want to kind of make sure that if people come down this path and it's nighttime at the zoo, that there's some light for them. All right. There we go. Even the staff need light. Mm-hmm. There. That should help everybody. By the way, as far as I understand it, the light is mostly cosmetic. I just think it looks really, really cool, you know, in the nighttime. Oh, I don't think we need that one. It's just these aren't turned on because it's not dark anymore. We finished some vet research, and we got more into the aardvark. So we're still going to keep researching the animals that we've got, but let's see what's going on with our aardvark. Make sure the aardvarks are happy. Nutrition, their last meal quality was bad. So let's click on this, and let's go ahead and go over to animals. And they're getting grade 2 food. That's the best we can give them right now. So they're being a little bit picky about their food. You have to get really high up on research to get their best food, but that's fine. So now what I want to do is I want to go to facilities, and I want to go to animal exhibits. Okay, so when you want to build animal exhibits, which are like tiny little structures for bugs and snakes and frogs and things like that, you don't go to the habitat to build those. You go over here into the exhibits. So you go to facilities, and there's a little animal exhibits. Now you could build prefabs, okay, or you can just which are a little more expensive, or you can build the cheapos, and we're going to be building the cheapos because we're starting out. Now you have to think, where do I want my exhibit? So you want it to be in some place where traffic can get there, but also in a place that is not negatively impacted. So I'm going to put this exhibit actually right here. Now you'll see the road wants to connect to this, and that's fine with me, but I could also rotate this. I could push X, and just kind of use the special rotator to square this off a little bit, like that. All right, and it says now editing a group. I want to immediately exit that. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to build another exhibit right now. I'm just going to build this one, okay? And I'm going to have to move these benches, so I'm just going to click it, push M, and just kind of slide it along like that so it makes sense where it's at. And this bench is kind of blocking the road. I'm going to want to move this. By the way, the guests will just walk through that. It's not going to bother them profoundly. I'm going to put this bench over here. Oh, look, Snoutina is about to mate. So you can click on the animals. You see how they're cuddling and, you know, being very, very friendly with each other. This is kind of like their mating. All the animals will do this when they're mating. They just kind of like snuggle with each other. And then you might get a pregnant animal as a result. And that is tremendous. What does this mean? Vet research complete. Let's check it out. Timberwolf. Indeed, Snoutina is pregnant. You can see up here it says offspring due August year 3. So what this means is that you're going to have a baby in August of year 3, and this is great. It gives us more animals, of course, which is fantastic. But it also means that it's going to create the baby is super desirable. Guests love to see it, so they're going to be really happy when they see it, and they're going to want to. More people will come to the zoo. You could charge higher prices, etc. We've got some better research done for the Timberwolf, so let's just celebrate that fact. And let me check in on the wolves while we're thinking about that. Wolves, where are you? Okay, animals. Here they are. By the way, if you can't find the animals, sometimes it's hard. You can click on the habitat, and then you can click on the animals tab, and then you can check mark the all box, and then you see it puts like a white outline on the animals so you can find them. You'd be like, where are you, animals? There they are. So this wolf is not happy because of enrichment. So what kind of enrichment? They want food enrichment. So we're going to go here. We're going to click the habitat, and we're going to say, all right, we need to go to filters, species, and we need the wolf, timber wolf. So let's go down to timber wolf and say okay, and then I'm gonna select enrichment items, and I want food enrichment, and we can now build this ball because we're at level 2. So I'll drop one right there, and they ran away from it. That's pretty funny. And I'll drop one like over here. So now they should have some food enrichment. And you could just check them out. Click on this, and you'll see that now they have plenty of food enrichment. So their overall welfare is fantastic. They just didn't like their last meal, which we can't really affect right now because... Oh, no, we can. Never mind, I lied. Grade 2 food quality. Do it. So let's give them better food. I thought for some reason we had to research level 3 to get the better food, but we don't. And we finished even more research on the timber. Oh, that's why. Because we did, while I was talking, we got level 3 research. Okay, that's why. Great. So now let's get back to this habitat, or this exhibit, I'm sorry. So what happens here is there's nothing in here, so it's like a closed-in box. But you can see that there are paths that are going to it. Now, what I actually want to do is build a path that comes out from all sides so that people can view this. And I'm just going to wrap the path around like that so that people can walk up to this from all over and check it out. And I'm going to make the path look like that. And I'm going to be even a little bit more funky, and I'm going to bring this around like this. So this way I create like a very silly pathing situation, but at the same time now everybody can get to this exhibit and the flow of traffic can keep going. All right, we finished some more research, which is more aardvark awesomeness. Okay, great. I'm going to move this bench now. Just give people a place to chill that makes sense. I'm going to duplicate this and let people have even more places to relax if they want. Okay, so we'll decorate this in a second, but for now let's talk about putting an animal in here. So if I click on this, you'll say it says exhibit 1 is empty, and you could just go from right here. You can click view exhibit animal market. All right, and we can buy some stuff that we want to go in here. Boa constrictors, you know, centipedes, spiders, all kind, turtles, beetles, you know, just the smaller creepy crawly stuff. So you can pick whatever you want. For some reason these boa constrictors just jump out to me, so I'm gonna adopt 1 and I'm gonna adopt 2. I did that really quickly because there was a male and a female, but I don't know if that's a good idea. So let me check on our boa constrictors and see what these are all about. So I'm going to go... oh, we got our Aardvark education rating up. Now, you see how this goal wanted us to increase our Aardvark education rating? This education rating goes up based on our education facilities that we've built. Like, so for example, these speakers and these screens that educate the guests, but also based on how much research we have. That kind of reflects how much knowledge we can give the guests about that particular species. So we'll claim the rewards and be really happy about it. Now, I'm going to go here and click on this, and I can say, all right, view animal, exhibit animal storage. It's right below the animal market. There's a button for your storage. You can just go down here, and you can see these 2 boa constrictors. I'm going to select them both, okay? And I'm going to say send to the zoo, and I'm just going to select this, and I'm going to pause the game immediately. So when you select the habitat, or the exhibit, I'm sorry, to put them in, it immediately turns the opaque walls into glass and people can see through. And I think it only makes clear each section of the exhibit that guests can get to. So we have them all sides, so then the animals can be seen from all sides. So immediately what you have to do, exhibit animals are a little bit trickier sometimes because they have severe demands for temperature and humidity. So you can see that the welfare of the boa constrictor is terrible, all right? So immediately just click down here and see what the problem is. It's the humidity and it's the layout, okay? So what we want to do on the exhibit is go to the climate tab. It looks like a thermometer, and you want to make sure that you adjust the humidity into their range. So if you mouse over their humidity, it says 60 to 80% humidity. This white bar is the good range. So just slide this humidity slider up until it's like, right in the sweet spot, 70% of what they want. The temperature needs to be between 73 and 88. It's 79 right now. So that is actually good for them. We'll leave it there. This doesn't instantly change. The humidity takes a moment to kind of set in, so after we unpause it, they will become a little happier. But let's then go to the layout tab. It looks like two leaves, and you can see that they don't like this. And we can't really do anything about this because the enrichment level for this has not been taken care of. We haven't researched it yet. So what I'm actually going to do for a moment, okay, is I'm going to go to my zoo tab, and I'm going to go to the mechanic research tab. I'm sorry, the animal research, vet research, and I'm going to take Manuel Feliciano off of Aardvark, okay, and I'm going to actually put her on boa constrictor, or him on boa constrictor. And now we're going to start researching this immediately. Aardvark is already fine, and the low-level research will happen faster. However, this is a good opportunity. Why not then simply hire another vet, okay? The only reason you wouldn't hire another vet is because they're kind of expensive, but we're making decent money right now, so we can do that. And then we can have somebody researching everything, all right? So I can go into zoo, I can go into staff, and I can say, all right, we're making okay money. Now, before you hire a bunch of people, make sure that there's a need for it, all right? So we want to research all of our stuff. That seems good, all of our animals. And make sure you're making enough money. So, the up arrow is green for our finance, so I can hire a vet. Vets are expensive. They're the most expensive staff you can hire. I'll drop the vet in. All right, now we need to go to work zones and put this vet in a work zone, but we also need to put this habitat in a work zone. Okay, so I'm going to say you need to go to entry center, okay, and then go to work zones, and I'm going to edit entry center, and I'm going to click on this exhibit and add it in to this work zone. Now you can choose what work zone, of course. Like if you think it belongs more here and you want to group things spatially or whatever, that's fine. But I'm okay with just putting it right there. And then now we have more staff. You could see that the constrictors are at low welfare, but this will change after we feed them. Oh, look at this. They've put food on this plate for the wolves to eat. And the guests are all like checking it out. What does this person think of it? Excellent. The toilet is free. Yeah, you can charge people to use the toilet. I never do this, but I guess if you want to make more money, you can. But they always love it. The toilet's free. And Brianna enjoyed her drink from Gulpy Soda. And it's good that the zoo isn't overcrowded. So she's really having a good day. Her education isn't great, but that comes over time with more stuff. All right. So I'm going to go back to zoo. I'm going to go into staff, and I'm going to go to vet research. And Yanni, the new vet that we hired, let's go ahead and just put Yanni on Aardvark research. So now we have all of our animals being researched. But we're not done with this, okay? Because even though we built the exhibit, we don't have any educational resources. So let's go over and let's build facilities, media devices, and education. And we're going to look for exhibit. Okay, so I just typed in the search box the first 3 letters of exhibit, and you found the exhibit education board. And it's kind of like a little pedestal podium thing that you can snap, okay? And I do want this to be part of a group, because this will mean that if I move my exhibit for some reason, that all of these education resources will move with it, because they're kind of stuck to it. So then I'm fine editing the group. Now I'm just going to escape out of this, and I'm going to click on this, and we need to, just like before, we're going to turn this to boa constrictor. And I'm going to look at this, and we're going to say boa constrictor, and we're just going to make sure that every single one of these is telling people that it's boa constrictor, so they can get some education on it. Now, granted, we don't know very much about boa constrictors right now, but we're researching it. We'll get there. Now, I'm doing it this way just because I want to show you the exhibit, but if you wanted to, you could wait to put your animals in the exhibit, just keep them in storage, and research everything first, so that when you built it, like, they would be completely happy and having a good time, and you would be able to put the layout how they want it. It's up to you. Now I'm going to go then back into facilities, and we need to go to bins. I'm going to clear the search, and we need to put in guest facilities. We need to put in some donation boxes, because we want people paying money when they see these awesome boa constrictors. They're going to be like, oh my god, boa constrictor, and how can I just give cash to, reflect my happiness? Well, we'll give them an opportunity to do that. In fact, we'll give them 4 opportunities. Now I'm going to unpause the game. You're going to immediately see that the animal's welfare has gone up to 85%, because the humidity is taken care of. So they're good for everything except for the layout, and that will fix. All right, so fantastic. Now, I'm going to go ahead and just go to nature, and I'm going to have some fun and build some daisies around these snakes, just to decorate this part of the zoo, this kind of like weird cross-section of paths that I have where everything is converging. I like to just kind of put pops of like these nice colors here. Vet research done. What did we finish? More timber wolf. That's great. Okay, and people are coming to check out the boa constrictor. You can see they're already doing that. The wolves are howling. That's hilarious. I'm going to duplicate these flowers. Now, you can decorate, of course, using whatever plants you want. It doesn't matter if the plants that you're using to decorate your zoo are specific to your region or anything. You just put whatever you like the look of, okay? So I really like these flowers just to give a little bit of color, but you can pick whatever you want, of course. And then I'm going to go over it, and I'm going to also add in some teeny little tree. No, that's not teeny at all. That's enormous. No, that's too big. Well, never mind about that. Those are ridiculously big. Okay, yeah. We can put in some of these, like, shrubs. Not very colorful, but they add some texture. And it just makes this place feel a little bit more alive to me. I love, like, one of my favorite parts of the game is just putting in plants and decorating. But be careful, because some of the plants and some of the trees especially, they get expensive. So don't go crazy until you got, like, a nice bankroll going, is my advice. But even here, like, you can put these bushes to just kind of hide this corrugated background, make it look a little nicer. All right, so fantastic. Look at this. Now people are coming in to check out the constrictor. Let's see what this person says. There isn't much to see in the zoo. They didn't like the view of the aardvark, but look at this guy. He's like, the boa constrictor exhibit humidity looks good. You see, he checked on it, and he liked that the humidity was at a good level. Okay, so that's important for us, and we gotta pay attention to that. The inspector is here. We're getting checked out. Now, another thing you want to do is I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to go to the animals, and I'm going to just make sure, I'm going to check the Zoopedia on Boa Constrictor. There's a little button at the bottom of the animal tab for this, to just make sure that we are okay with this animal. So the group size is 1 to 2, and we have 2. So that's as many as we can have. So don't put more than just 2 boa constrictors in there. That's all they want. All right, and did we finish the research? Oh, we got more wolf research. Wow, we're really killing it on wolves. Okay, so let's go over to the wolves and let's see if we can give them a better meal. There it is, grade 3. Give them that nice meal so that their overview is happy. Now, you'll see that... Okay, I'm going to pause it. The barrier status is low. Like, this barrier is breaking. We've got to get this fixed. And that's a concern. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to the maintenance tab, and I need to check... by default, the game sets this pretty crazy, in my opinion. Like, it's not what you want it. Check your mechanic. I like them to come every month. I like the vet to come every month, and the keeper to come every month. I want people there all the time, like they are for this one. We did this for this habitat, I believe, right? Yeah. I just forgot to do it for my new habitat, and they need to be fixing that, because if your barrier breaks, the animals can escape. It's no good. You don't want that. All right, so everything's looking good. I mean, look at this. We're just making so much money, which is very good. We've got a pregnant aardvark, and we're being inspected, but our habitats are good, so we shouldn't have any concern. And we even got better on aardvark. So let's go to the aardvark. Let's go to the animal. And let's get them grade 3 quality right away. Now our animals are getting really pampered. The VIP has arrived, and it's another player. So you can say hello and get 20 conservation credits for doing that. Why not? Oh, she's about to have her baby. Now, check this out. This is the Planet Zoo miracle of babies. So this is how birthing works. You're sitting there, and just... You could click on this little button when things are about to happen to zoom in on the animal and get this, like, close-up view. You see she's walking in place. And now she's just sitting down. And boom, the magic, the miracle of life, the baby appears. So in this game, babies just, like, materialize. But oh my goodness, look at this. I'm going to exit it. We have a cutie patootie baby aardvark, and this is our baby sniff. I mean, this baby is really fantastic, and if you check the tab for this animal, okay, let's see, where is the information about its... Oh, there's no star rating yet, but it'll get one. People, here we go. Here's the appeal. Look at this. I'm going to pause it. 4350 appeal. Okay, this is how much people love to see a baby. Versus this one, this is the appeal over here. This badge in the upper left of them is 3150. So the baby is like... People love it. And we already visited that. We got inspected. And let's check the research. And ooh, we got even more Timberwolf done. So that's terrific. I'm going to unpause it for a moment. Look at this. By the way, I'm going to go to Zoo, and I'm going to go to Overview, and I'm going to see... we just got inspected. Let's view our report. We got a bad rating on education, but... Everything else was very, very good, so that's fine. Education is really hard to score highly on. Oop, this barrier is getting wrecked. Might be a sign that we need to hire more mechanics. If they can't keep up, then you need to hire more mechanics. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, and we finally finished some boa constrictor research. We got a gift done, which is to get 300 guests, so we get $1,000 for that. I'm going to pause the game and click on this exhibit. Now from here... I can finally go into the layout tab, and we can do enrichment level 1. So you can see how they don't like this, and you can toggle these on to like put new things in the habitat, or I'm sorry, in the exhibit that they will like. I actually like to build them all because I think they're cool, but you don't have to build them all. Just one in a category I think does the work. But you see how we immediately jump from 40 to 60% because we had enrichment level 1. All right, so this is the boa abode. All right, and now we're doing great. Okay, everybody, so we built an exhibit, we talked about work zones, and we have almost maxed out some research on animals, and we had ourselves our first baby. Another thing about babies, if they're born in your habitat, you can actually release them to the wild to gain conservation credits instead of just selling them, but you can't release babies. They have to mature before you can release them to the wild. But this is a way you can actually earn more conservation credits if you want. Everyone, I hope you found this to be helpful and fun. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.